What's up, friends? We are going to do a basics class on seated yoga postures. So I'm going to use a towel, and I'm using a towel instead of a yoga strap just to show you that you don't need special props in order to practice at home. So I'm using a kitchen towel. I'm pretty mobile, so for me this is long enough. If you are in the tighter side in your body, get a longer towel, make it feel easier. You can also use a belt, a literal belt, or a tie, or something like that that is long and not too bulky, because sometimes the longer towels start to get a little bulky. So grab something that's going to make your limbs longer. And then we're going to start with our legs out straight. So we're going to pause here. You don't need your towel yet. Bring your hands next to your hips and then push down to lift your spine up. Right away this might feel like a challenge, and if it is, you can put a little bend in your knees. Go for it. If you can, you're going to push the legs down toward the floor without lifting the heels off the ground. So the whole leg, from the sitting bones, through the hamstrings, to the calves, to the heels, you're going to press down. And you're going to open up the chest gently. So this is called Dandasana, staff pose. And it's a strong pose. Like think of a staff, like a cane, and that's what your body is right now. We're going to take our right leg and we're going to draw the foot to the inner right thigh. So that was the foundation for this next pose, Dandasana. Now you're going to want your implement, and you're going to bring it around your foot, and then you're going to lift your spine up. So that same sensation that we had in Dandasana of lifting the spine, you're going to find that here by pulling the strap, towel, belt against your foot and pushing your foot into it. At the same time, draw the shoulders down the back. Broaden your collarbones. Keep pushing that whole left leg down. And then we breathe. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. Our breath is instrumental in so many important systems in our body, but specifically right now in this sort of relaxation reflex that we can induce from mindful, deep breathing, so that we're allowing our muscles to release a little bit so that they can in fact stretch. And so as you're here, we're going to be here for a few more breaths. You're engaging the quadricep, the front of the leg, a little bit, and that's going to allow the hamstring some freedom, the back of the leg, to open up a bit more. And then if you feel good here, stay. If you want, you can start to push the foot away and pull gently against your towel to draw the heart forward. I'm just going to call it a towel from now on because that's what I'm using. So whatever you're using, that's your towel. And so what's important here is that you're not just trying to get your head forward, because this is going to put your spine in a position that's not going to benefit you in this moment. So instead, we're hinging from this left hip and we're moving the whole spine forward, or not. So if the only way for you to come forward is to go like this, you're going to skip it. Instead, you're going to sit up tall, moving the heart up, feeling the space between the shoulder blades drawing you forward. One more full breath here, and then we release it. You're going to take this leg out, and then the left foot comes in. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So rooting down, lifting up through the spine, pushing the whole back of the leg down, and then bringing your towel around your foot. Hi, little mister. Little mister's checking in on my form. We all can use a little help. Lift the spine up even taller. Draw forward a bit more. And then we do some of those checkpoints. We draw up on the quadricep. We check that the spine is lifting. The breath is supporting us. And then from the crease of the right hip, we might start to move forward, but without rounding the back and dropping the head. Little mister really likes it when I'm doing seated poses. Like this is his favorite time. He likes lying poses even more. Just a few more breaths. Keep connecting to your breath. So the mind mind has this tendency to want to wander here. And our easiest means to keep our mind present with what we're doing is to focus on your breathing. And so we often think of yoga as stretching or putting our body into contortions, and that's not really true at all. It's about quieting the mind so that we can sit with ourselves. And the poses help us to open the body up so that when we're seated and quiet, we're more comfortable. Last breath here. And then we're going to rise up. Good. You're going to bring that foot in. Now we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. This is called Dandasana, or cobbler's pose. So if you think of putting a shoe, if I was a cobbler working on shoes and putting a shoe between my feet and working on the shoe, that's kind of where the name of the pose comes from. So bring the feet together. Your knees might be up here, totally fine. Do not force them down. Do not force them down. Instead, be kind on your body. Press your feet together. Hold the feet in toward the groin with your hands. And then same thing, just kind of move onto the sitting bones. And then maybe shift the spine forward a little bit. So we are tighter in our bodies in different ways. We're all very, very different in how we're put together and where we're open and where we're tight. Some of us are open everywhere, some of us are tight everywhere, but most of us have some area that's a little more open than another, which facilitates our movement in general. So just noticing and taking stock of which postures feel more challenging to you, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to spend more time on them, it's just giving you information about how your body is operating, and that further leads us to look at, is this just something that is born in me, or is this a result of movement patterns, of sedentary patterns? And then we can adjust and work with that as we find out this information. So again, it's not just about putting your body into different positions, it's about fact-finding. This is what yoga is. It's about finding out about ourselves, diving in a little deeper, peeling off the layers of who we are, physically, mentally, emotionally, and getting deeper into our source. And then you're just gonna draw the knees back up. Okay, we're gonna take one leg out and one foot in. And then you can use a strap or a towel here if you want, and then hold on to that foot with the same arm. But you don't have to. You can just have your arm resting on your leg. And then this arm is gonna come up. If your shoulder is tight, if this bothers you in any way, just put your hand on your knee and then leaning over to the side. So there's a few things happening here, but what I want you to focus on right now today is opening up this side body. So from your hip to your shoulder, lengthening this side. Breathing into the rib cage, breathing into this side body to bring some life here. So our sides get stagnant. And when we sit a lot, we start to like shrink in our torso. We actually shrink in our torso when we sit a lot. It's crazy, right? And this is just a means to kind of get you up and out of that seat. Tracing your breath. Don't doubt yourself. You're perfect where you are. And it's really natural to doubt yourself in this process. And I'm going to keep telling you, don't doubt yourself. Rise up. And then we're going to take this to the other side. So just switching the legs. If you want to use your towel, you're bringing it around your foot. Same arm as leg holds. And then just settle to see what this side brings. And then if you want, the arm could come up. And again, our focus today is opening this side body from shoulder to hip. And when I talk about opening up your body, it's not opening it up to be able to do crazy postures or to be incredibly flexible or try out for Cirque du Soleil. It's really about opening your body relative to yourself, to open oneself up, to feel more fluid, spacious, to find some ease in your body. So we don't need to worry about what the picture of our openness looks like. It's just moving with our breath, creating length in our muscles, giving freedom to our joints. And then we're going to rise back up. I'm going to take both legs out straight. I'm going to go on an angle again so that you can get a sense of my spine. Actually, I'll go all the way around. I'll go all the way around. Okay, so we started with we started with Dandasana. Hands at your side, lifting up. This is our foundation again. We're going into Hashimotonasana, which is just a simple, it's not simple, it's a forward fold. But it's a long name for simply forward folding, right? So pushing the backs of the legs down, towel around the feet, spine lifts. Root the sitting bones down, root the backs of the legs down. Make sure you can see me past the little mister, but I'm really just sitting with my legs out straight. So again, if legs straight doesn't feel good and pulls you into your back being here, consider putting a bend in your knees, pushing the feet into the towel and holding on with the hands to lift the spine up. And you're going to get more benefit here than you will here. So lifting up the spine, and then maybe starting from the hinge of the hips to come forward so that you are tipping forward. But there's no prize to get there, so don't suffer unnecessarily. And as we did in every other posture, you are breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. See if you can take the breath a little deeper into your rib cage, into your belly, not just into the chest, but down deeper into your torso. We rise up with an inhale. You can release your towel and then come around sitting cross-legged. If you're sitting cross-legged and you feel like your knees are way up here, you should consider putting a pillow or something under your hips, a blanket under your hips. A yoga block if you have it, that's why I said a block, but I'm trying to show that you don't need to have special props in order to practice at home. So if you don't have a yoga block, get a pillow, something a little firmer will hold you up a little more. So not like a soft pillow, but like something a little more firm, like even like a couch cushion is good. And then we're just gonna sit here. So if you're elevated, it helps to let the knees come down a little bit. And this is not as easy as it looks. So if this is challenging for you, just know that it's not that easy. It's not that easy. So let the eyes soften, broaden the collarbones, take a few breaths here. And then we're going to lift the spine even higher, and you're just going to turn to one side, and it doesn't matter which side. Just pick a side, and we're going to take a gentle twist in that direction. So I'm using my hand on my knee gently to draw my spine around. And when we twist, think of it as a spiral staircase. Like start at the bottom, and our low back, our lumbar spine doesn't really twist a lot. So as you're coming around, just sort of see where you twist how much, and then come through your middle back. And then when you get to the upper back, we're really finding that last bit of movement. And then if it bothers your neck, don't do it. But if it's okay, your cervical spine starts to come around and maybe turning your chin toward the shoulder. And then we release gently back up. We're going to switch the cross of the legs. And then pause. Hands rest on your legs if it's okay. Just take a couple breaths. Settle here. Adjust if you need to. Rooting the sitting bones either to the ground or whatever you're sitting on. then we lift taller, and we're gonna move into that twist to the other side. So bring your hand towards your knee, the other hand can come around, and if you're elevated, getting your hand to the floor might not happen, and that's okay. And then starting from the base of that staircase and winding your way up. Every inhale gives your spine length. Every exhale allows you to turn a little deeper into this twist. And we move gently and we move with the breath, and that allows us to decide that we've gone far enough or if we want to go further. But if you just whip yourself in, you're not giving yourself the opportunity to get the feedback of how it feels to be where you are. Counting 2 more breaths here, breathing as deeply as you can, which can be a little tricky here because the belly's restricted a little bit as we twist. So breathing into the ribs, breathing into the back body. And then the last breath in, we release with the exhale and come back to center. And then just pause here again for a moment. Let the eyes soften. Let the breath smooth out and get a little softer, a little easier. A little bit passive. And then bring the hands together at your heart. Thank you for practicing with me today. Revisit this, do this over and over again. See how it gets easier the more you do it. And if you have questions, you let me know.